Hello and welcome to another Stamp with Amy K Facebook Live, and today I'm going to show you how I made a card with the Gathered Wheat stamp set bundle from Stampin' Up. This is one of the bundles from the July to December 2022 mini catalog, and it's one of them that's kind of tucked a little bit in the back, so I don't know if you've seen it yet or not, but it's a good one. I actually like it. I think it's really pretty and perfect kind of for all things fall and for Thanksgiving and all that sort of thing. So hopefully you'll like it too, and hopefully you'll like my card. So right now I'm trying to get comments pulled up on my computer, which of course Facebook is not being cooperative in the least with that. All right, looks like we're finally there, so I think I'm good. Hopefully I can see what's going on here now. So this is what we're going to be making today. So it's a pretty simple card. Just a little bit of die cutting, a little bit of stamping, and a tiny bit of coloring, and that's going to be it. So this is it. And then let's start with the stamp set. So we've got the Gathered Wheat stamp set. Again, it's beautiful kind of fall images, at least in my opinion, beautiful fall images, and some really pretty sentiments as well. One of the things that I do love about this stamp set is that there is a die that coordinates with the kind of curved sentiment, the thinking of you sentiment, and it turns into one of those like double folded banners, which is really cool. So I love it, and it's a very pretty die, very pretty sentiment set, very pretty everything. I don't know, I like it. So hey, Donna and Pam and Laura, thanks so much for joining today. A couple of other things about this die set is there is a larger die here that cuts out this wheat image and one that cuts out this image. There's also a little die here that cuts out this image. And it took me a moment to figure this out because there's a little heart here as well. And then this is a border die, obviously. With the wheat, actually, these little, I don't know, whatever you call them, pieces of wheat. Hey, Penny and Linda and Carol. I always come up with the best descriptions. But it took me a while to figure out. I thought that these maybe cut out this stamped image, but they don't. At least I couldn't figure out how to make it work together. What I did discover is that these layer together. So if you wanted to cut this out in, say, I don't know, So Saffron, and then wanted to add Daffodil Delight for a little bit of a little different color in the middle of it, you can definitely die cut it, and they fit perfectly together. So that's actually how these are intended to be used, not like I was trying to do and die cut these pieces of wheat. That didn't work. So, all right. Hey, Doreen, thanks for hopping in today. There are also some pretty little kind of, I don't know, grass or leaves or whatever you want to call these. So I use those on the background. So we're going to be playing with several of the dies today as well. All right. So let me set those things aside. A couple other things that I used on this card. Hey, Lois, thanks for joining today. I'm glad to see you here. So, I'm going to give it a shot, Linda. So I'll try to make you want this bundle because actually I love it. And I think it's really pretty. And I think everybody should just get it. And then, because you'll just be sad later if you don't. That's my theory on it, is just get it. And then you won't be sad. So, all right. So one of the other things that I used on this for the background is the Time Worn Type 3D embossing folder. So hopefully you can kind of see a little bit of it now that I've put my hands behind it. So I did use that on the background. And the Border Basics dies, I used this one with a little scalloped edge on it and the kind of three-sided piece, whatever you want to call it, three-sided die cut. And again, just cut along the bottom with that. And then the other set of dies that I used is the Stylish Shapes, because next to these stitched rectangles, I think this is probably my second most used die set. And I used this little banner to cut out the sentiment. So, all right, get on there the right way, silly thing. Okay, let me set those all aside and talk about a couple things that are going on and coming up. So Stampin' Up! Has weekly deals that are going to be running through the 28th, which, depending on when you're watching this video, that is tomorrow. Right now, because it's Tuesday. If you're watching this video on Wednesday, it will be today. So last day for the weekly deals from Stampin' Up! For the month of September is the 28th. So make sure you're getting those things picked up. I think the copper foil sheets actually showed up as one of the items that's on sale. So, and that's what I used on here. So go pick up a couple packs of them because you're going to like them. All right, a couple of other things. Also ending very soon, the end of September here. Stampin' Up! Has got the Perfect Partners bundles that they have going on. So these are some stamp sets that are in the current mini and annual catalog. And then they've got some die sets that coordinate with them. So if you already have the stamp set, you can just get the dies. If you don't have either and want them, then you can get the bundle together and save 10%. So that's an awesome deal. Again, it's only through the month of September and only while supplies last. Since we're getting kind of late in September, I'm assuming that supplies are going to last, but I would not assume that and wait till, the 30th and then be sad. So just order them today. Details are on my blog, which is stampwithamyk.com. There's a link right to the store where you can go pick up the bundles and go pick up the weekly deals and all that stuff. So head over there and take a look. And then I just posted this on my blog, again, stampwithamyk.com, and it's also out on my business Facebook page. Our team is doing an event for World Card Making Day on Saturday, the 1st of October. It's going to run from about 9 in the morning until about 9 in the evening Eastern time, so you have to translate that to whatever your time zone is. We're going to be going live on Facebook about every hour. Somebody's going to go live and show a new card project for you. The Facebook group is open to join. There's a link here, which is really long, but if you search for Ink and Crew World Card Making Day 2022 on Facebook, or go to my business page, or go to my blog, you will find the link right over to the page. Just click the button at the top to join, and we'll let you in just as soon as we possibly can. As soon as they see you over there asking to join, we'll let you in. So it's going to be a fun day. There are some giveaways, and the giveaways may be starting a little later today, the opportunity to win some things. So maybe you'll want to hop in a little early. I'm just saying. Anyway, so there are going to be some giveaways and lots of card making presentations. And Stampin' Up! Is actually also doing an event for World Card Making Day, and our event is before and after their event. Their event is going to go from 2 to 5 Mountain Time, which is 4 to 7 Eastern Time. So again, got to translate that to whatever your time zone is. They are going to be sharing 3 card projects. Again, this is all linked up on my blog. There is a link to the cardstock cuts already posted out there as well. So Stampin' Up! Shared that with us. I don't know. I haven't seen a link to the actual platform where it's going to be at yet, but hopefully they'll let us know the details soon. But there are some bundles specifically that they're going to be using on their card projects. And I know that our team is actually, many of us are going to try to go ahead and go ahead and use these for our event as well. So you should go home with lots of ideas by the end of the day for these 3 bundles. And if you order any of these 3 bundles by October 1st, you're going to get a free pack of iridescent pearl basic jewels from Stampin' Up! So again, let me know if you have questions about that. Details are on my blog, so go take a peek. And hey, Melanie, and no worries. I know 6 a.m. is early for some of you, and it's going to be even worse for those that live in Hawaii, but the replays are going to be there forever. As long as Facebook will let the page be open, the replays will be there. So you can always go and watch the replays later, catch the lives when you're awake and alert and whatever. You don't even really have to be alert, So, you get the wheat bundle. You're going to be sad if you don't. All right, one last thing. Yep, that's it. I swear. There's lots of updates going on right now. So Stampin' Up! Just announced a new Starter Kit Plus promotion. It's only from the 4th to the 31st of October. So just be aware of that. It doesn't start until October 4th, where you're going to get to pick $155 worth of products in your starter kit from Stampin' Up! For $99. So still the same price. You're going to still get free shipping on it. You get the free paper pumpkin kit, all the good stuff, the business materials, so they're going to send catalogs and that sort of thing for you, but you're actually going to get to pick extra free stuff from Stampin' Up! In your starter kit if you join between October 4th and the 31st. In my opinion, these are always the best times to join because, you get lots of extra free stuff. So normally you get to pick 125. Now you get to pick 155. And then you get the demonstrator discount on anything that you order after that. And there's no requirement to sell to anyone other than yourself. And so, if you just want to join and get the discount for yourself, you can certainly do that. And it's a great deal. So, all right, let's get to the card making. My original card, and actually somebody wrote me a note after my Facebook Live that I talk way too fast. So I apologize. I'll apologize up front if I'm talking way too fast. I just get going, and I've always been a fast talker, and so I try to slow down, and I think about it and slow down, and then I'm going 100 miles an hour. So there is a little button, which would be about right here, I think, when you watch the replay, that you can change the setting and actually slow down the replay. So if I'm talking too fast, you can always change the settings. So, all right. So on my original card, I did a top fold card. So this card base is 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at 5 1/2 across the top. This will also work on a standard card base, which is your 8 1/2 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4 card base. So I did this card base to show you here today so that you can see that it works on either one. But this is my preferred card base, but I know that not everybody loves those. So I try to show you both ways if you can do it. So you enjoy the fast talking? Okay, because I feel bad. Like I said, I can't help myself. I've always been this way, and I try. So, hey, Marilyn and Terry, thanks for joining today. So, all right, so I'm going to start with, again, this is a thick basic white card base, and I've got a little piece of the Splendid Day Designer Series paper. This is one of the specialty packs from the mini catalog, and this is cut to about 1.5 inches by 4 1/4, so it should fit across the whole card front and be about 1.5 inches tall. And if I can get my Stampin' Seal going, there we go. Putting a little Stampin' Seal on there, and then I'm going to line it up over here on the edge of the card. Hopefully I'm still on screen. Yep, looks like I am. So, all right, so got that stuck down. And to me, that looks almost, I don't know, like a sweater is what it looks like to me. So that was kind of why I went with it, because I thought, well, that, kind of perfect for fall and and harvest sweaters. It's the sweater time of year. Although not quite really sweater time yet, because it's still too warm. Because I put on the sweater in the morning. I did it yesterday where I put on long sleeves in the morning because I was freezing. And then by about noon, I was sincerely regretting wearing it. So, all right, I've got a piece of basic white cardstock that I have cut to about 4 1/4 by 5. So it's almost square, but not quite. Little bit rectangular. And that is where we're going to stamp our wheat image. So we're going to start with the background. This is Sahara Sand ink, and I'm going to ink up the larger wheat image. And if I didn't say hey to you, Karen, thanks for joining. So I know, and that's kind of what I've determined, Terry, is that, I kind of just need to be me, and if you don't love the way I talk, then I guess there are lots of other people out there you can listen to. So, all right, I'm going to try to get this aim for center here and stamp it on the background. So what I did, which I was busy yakking and not telling you what I was doing, so I inked it up with Sahara Sand ink, stamped it on scrap paper once to kind of take the really, not that Sahara Sand is a dark ink, but the really dark ink out of it, and made a little bit of a lighter on the background. So, all right, now I'm going to grab the Border Basics dies, and again, it's this one with the little kind of scallopy edge on it and the three sides, and I'm going to line it up here so that this is running across the bottom, and then I tried to count the scallops out, and it should be almost to the edge of the third scallop on either side, so that hopefully that will cut it straight. Now that I say that, I'll probably put it through all sorts of crazy and it'll be all crookedy by the time I get it out, but that is my intention when I run it through the die cutting machine, is that I'm going to have it straight here. So line this up along the bottom and then go to about the third scallop on the edge, and that will cut it hopefully even on either side of it. So I'm going to be at my die cutting machine for a second here off to the side. And it's actually been beautiful here in New Jersey the last couple of days. I have no complaints about the weather. Well, we did get a little rain on Sunday, but beautiful here yesterday all day, and beautiful here again today. So, and I know that those of you in Florida, Karen, I'm thinking about you, because I don't know if you're in the direct path, but hopefully you're not anywhere near the hurricane craziness that's going on, because goodness, that looks like it's going to be a bad one coming in. So, all right, so there's my die cut piece. And I realized that I forgot to grab one of the cutting pads. Hold on. Realized that I need to emboss this, and I didn't have the embossing piece. So this, when I do my embossing, we're going to run this through with the Time Worn Type embossing folder. So, thanks so much, Melanie. If you didn't know it already, there's a little line here across the bottom of most of the embossing folders. I'll move the paper down so you can see it a little bit better. And if you line up the bottom of your either die cut or your panel, whatever, with that should be a straight line, should give you a straight line if it matters. Sometimes it doesn't matter whether it's straight or not on the embossing. This one doesn't really matter, but a little bit. You don't want it to look crazily crooked. So if you line it up along there, it should give you a fairly straight emboss. And then the sandwich that works in the machines, in your standard die cutting machines, is your base plate. And then you're going to put your 3D embossing folder on it, and then you're going to put the specialty plate, which you can purchase separately if you don't have this one yet. You can definitely purchase it separately. I think it's $10.50, and it works perfectly with a 3D embossing folder. So, oh boy, in Orlando, never been through a hurricane. Yikes. That is scary, definitely. So. And I know that Tampa right now is the one that they're really concerned about. It sounds like people in that area might get hit a little bit hard, but it kind of depends because those hurricanes can go all over the place too and not necessarily follow where everybody thinks they should go. So, all right, so we've got the embossed panel here. Hopefully you can see it's embossed with the Time Worn Type embossing folder. And I'm going to grab a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue, and we're going to put it over the back of the embossed panel here. Just going right along the edges and up into the corners. Normally I use Stampin' Seal, but I do use the liquid glue when it's a panel like this where it's covering a lot of the card front, and I need to make sure that it gets put on here straight, because sometimes I don't always get it on exactly straight the first time around, and then it's nice to have a little second to be able to wiggle stuff if you need to, just like I did right there, to make sure that you're getting everything lined up and straight and all that good stuff. So all right, let's get that stuck down. So, all right. Next up, I did these ahead of time, just because, again, it's die cutting off screen, and it's really not very exciting to watch nothingness. So I cut some of the little leaves, or I don't know if they're leaves or blades of grass or what they're supposed to be, but I cut a couple of those and a couple of the little pieces of wheat from the copper embossing, copper foil sheets is what I was trying to say. And then the dies that I use to cut those is I use this one and this one to cut the little leaves. And I don't know, they look like bananas to me, but I know they're not bananas. Anyway, that's what they look like when I initially looked at them. I'm like, bananas, okay. Anyway, and then I used two of these to cut out the little pieces of wheat as well. And before I did that, I guess I should back up one step, is before I actually cut the copper foil sheets, I put adhesive sheets in the back of it. So the adhesive sheets come in a 6x12 panel, and you can cut it up with your regular trimmer. Just trim off a little piece. I usually do about an inch wide, so it's an 1x6. And then it comes in 3 sections, and you basically just adhere those little sections to the back of your foil sheets, and then just go ahead and cut them as you normally would, and then it makes it into a sticker basically. So it's all right. So, Cindy, because sometimes, to be out online and doing this kind of thing, you kind of have to have thick skin, because people say stuff. Sometimes it's amazing to me. Sometimes what people will say, you can't do anything other than really laugh and say, goodness, I hope they're just having a really bad day. So, all right. So use the adhesive sheets and stuck them to the back of the copper foil sheets. And then I'm just going to take this and place it. This one's the taller one, so I'm going to place that up here a little bit. I'm not sticking it down too firmly yet. And then this one I already had started peeling it. And I'm going to take that one and sort of stick it right over here. Stay a little bit. Don't stay tight. So to get the stickers off flat, the adhesive sheets are awesome. I love them as well. So, all right. So, and I see love to have a nice stamper. She's in the, oh gosh, it is scary. I don't know that, hopefully everybody gets out safely for that hurricane. It's going to be a icky one, I think. So, to get the stickers off flat, basically I use either my paper snips or the little pokey end on the, take your pick tool, or my little tweezers here, and I just basically kind of push down and slide it, and that's how I get the stickers to come off mine relatively easily. Now they're not, super easy to get to come off, but you don't necessarily want them to be either. So, all right, so I'm going to stick these down, kind of temporarily tap them on here a little bit. Because I'm going to be placing my die cut over the top, and if I need to wiggle them around a little bit, I don't want to smoosh them down just yet until I know exactly where the die cut's going to land and that I've got these in the place where I want them to be. So again, I've got the two little wheat pieces, and these I can pretty securely stick down because I know that those are going to land where I want them to be, whether I intended them to be there or not, but they don't really need to move around. So there we go. And then we'll take that one and stick it right down over the top. When I actually originally made this card, I did use multi-purpose liquid glue on these two. I had the adhesive sheets on this one, and I had a horrible time getting it to stick. So the adhesive sheets to me are much, much better for the foil sheets, because the foil sheets almost have like a slick backing. And I know sometimes you can peel the backing off it and anyway make a whole big thing out of it, but to me it's just easier to use the adhesive sheets, and then they stick no problem. All right, so I'm gonna slide this over here and grab another piece of basic white cardstock, and I've got the wheat image on my block already and Tuxedo Black Memento ink, and we're going to ink this up and go ahead, maybe get a good solid image here. Trying to make sure. It looks like I need to re-ink my Memento ink pad. It seems to be getting a little dry, which that happens, especially as we kind of transition into the fall and winter. The heat comes on a little bit. All right, so I've got that stamped in Tuxedo Black, and I'm just a mess. I forgot my blends. Goodness, where in the world did I put them? I had them. Oh. All right, they're here, close by. Set them on the desk in front of me. So I've got So Saffron Stampin' blends, and I'm starting with the light. And again, as I usually do, I'm just kind of putting color quickly over the top of everything with the light first. And again, just coloring. It doesn't need to be really neatly done. Again, this is one of those nature images where they're pretty forgiving, so you don't have to worry about having everything be perfect on it, because really nothing is extremely perfect in nature, particularly when it comes to flowers and leaves and that sort of thing. So that's why if you're newer to using Stampin' blends, I usually recommend that you start by doing an image like this, because they're very forgiving, and it makes it really easy. So, and they look good really no matter how you color them. All right, I'm coming back in with a little bit of dark and just kind of putting little swishes of dark down the top of the pieces of wheat here, and then I'm going to come back in here on places where I feel like it would be a little bit darker on the leaves. Depending on where the sun is shining, I probably am coloring them totally the wrong way darker, but in my opinion, in my mind, that's where the darker areas would be. And then if you feel like you need to, you can definitely come back and pull a little bit of the light color, mix it in with the dark color. But again, this image, it's not very big and doesn't really require a lot of blending on it. So, all right, let me grab the die that coordinates with it. Yes, Daffodil Stampin' Blend would definitely work on it. So it's just whatever your preference is. I liked the lighter color, so that's why I went with it. But it'll give you a little bit more of an intense yellow, if that makes sense. So it'd be a little brighter yellow, obviously. Mine is a little more muted yellow. So, all right, so I'm going to grab the die here from the wheat dies and going to run this through my die cutting machine over here. So I'll be off screen for a second. Hey, Carol, thanks for hopping in. And make sure I've got it lined up here, hopefully fairly straight. This one's not too hard to line up. As I say that, I should say that after I pull it out of the die cutting machine. I'll show you one little quick thing about lining it up. So with the stamped image on this one in particular, you'll want to look at and line up the leaves and the stems down here at the bottom. Don't pay attention to the top part up here very much, just because to me this looks like it's not straight and not going to cut right and whatever, but it does. So as long as you're lined up on the stems and the leaves on this one, the rest of it cuts the right way. So that's what you need to pay attention to when you're lining this one up. So, all right. Hey, Pauline, thanks for joining. Okay, I'm going to grab some mini glue dots and stick those to the back of this die cut. And then we'll put it on the card front and see if we like the placement of the little copper wheat die cuts that I've done. And if we do, I'll smush everything down. If we don't, I'll move the copper die cuts around a little bit. All right, so I'm going to put this on here. And actually, I think the copper die cuts aren't too terrible, being the way that they are. I kind of wanted them peeking out from around the other die cut, but wanted to make sure that the bottoms weren't showing. You know, I don't know. I thought it would look weird if the bottoms were hanging out. So that was the main thing. I wanted to make sure I was going to have all that covered. So there we go. Just use a little mini glue dots, stuck those down, and now I'm just smooshing the, whoop, of course it sticks to my finger and not, did I forget to peel the backing off of it? That might be why. I don't know if I peeled the backing off of it or peeled too much of the backing off. Or maybe I didn't put it on there at all. I thought I had. Hey. All right. Well, you're going to get to see me make a mess with the liquid glue on this one. Here I thought I had, and I may have just not put it on there and thought I had. I don't know. So, all right. Liquid glue will get it either way. All right. Now I got to try to tuck this down under, get it in the right spot, and not get glue all over myself. All right. Hold, hold, hold. Whew. Okay. I got it to work. I don't know what that, like I said, the only thing I could think of is that I don't know, that I actually didn't put the adhesive on the back of it, which could easily be. So, all right. Last little thing, we've got to add a sentiment on here. So I'm going to grab my piece of, a dot is a lot when it comes to, I know it is. And I just have, I don't know, I don't have good luck having good control over it. I make a mess. So, yes, I agree with you that a tiny bit is much better, but I don't always have good luck with a tiny bit. So, all right. Got Versamark ink and the sentiment from the Gathered Wheat stamp set. And I'm going to stamp that here on the basic white panel. And then I'm going to grab my copper embossing powder. This is in the Metallics embossing powders pack. And just sprinkle it over the top, do a little shaking. Looks like I had some fat fingerprints on there, so I'm going to make sure I wipe down all that and get all the extra little flecks off there before I start the heat embossing. All right, now I'm going to grab my heat tool and level 1 setting. Then the Stampin' Up! Heat tool is for drying, so things like if you are watercoloring or doing using some sort of an ink that takes a little longer to dry and you want to speed it up, you can use the level 1 setting. And then the level 2 setting is for heat embossing. It gets a little bit hotter, and we'll use that in a second. It does take a second for it to heat up, so that's why I'm kind of yakking and pointing at things instead of actually heat embossing. And I'm glad it's not just me that does not love the liquid glue and has trouble with it. I don't know. I make more of a mess with that liquid glue. Sometimes I don't struggle so much, and then other times, like, half the card is glued to me. So, all right. Okay. So let's turn this towards the card and heat embossing. You just sort of want to keep it moving a little bit because you can burn your embossing powder if you hold the heat tool in one spot for too long. Once it turns shiny and kind of a brighter color, then you know that it's done cooking. You don't want to overheat it. You can burn it that way too. Just, you know, if you do too much, then it turns really kind of a matte and dark and not very pretty. So you want it to be nice and pretty and shiny, and you know, then it's all good. So, all right, so we've got these Stylish Shapes dies here, and I'm going to take, this is the, I don't know, there's a wider banner set and a narrow banner set. So I've got the narrow banner set, and then I've got the wider of the narrow. Does that make sense? I don't know. So, about the fine tip bottles and put your glue in those. Does it make a huge mess? Because I'm just envisioning me having glue everywhere trying to get the glue into the bottles. So I don't know. If you have tips about that, let me know, because I would be interested to know how it goes with the transfer of the glue, because like I said, I'm just a messy gluer. So, all right, I'm going to go die cut this. All right. And again, those are the Stylish Shapes dies. And if you don't have this die set, get them, because you'll love them. And you'll use them all the time like I do. So, all right, I've got some Stampin' dimensionals here. I'm going to use those to adhere my sentiment to the card front. And we're actually almost done with my card here, and me making a mess of things. I don't know, today is just the day to forget or mess things up or whatever. So it's not messy. Okay, well, I may have to give it a try, because like I said, I've been hesitant because I just make such a mess, and I'm just envisioning having glue oozing out of everywhere and all over everything, and then I would not be happy. So, all right, to finish the card front, I just used a couple of the brushed metallic adhesive back dots, and I used the copper ones, obviously, because we're doing copper, and just sticking a couple of them down here. I think we'll go, I must have gone down a little bit lower with my sentiment this time than I did on my original card, because these are down a little bit lower, but either way works. So, all right, there we go. Stick those on and we'll be done with the card front. And that's it. So let me grab the inside of the card here. I've got this, this is a piece of basic white, and it's cut to 4 by 5 1/4. And again, I'm just going to grab the little wheat image and the Sahara sand ink, and we're going to ink it up. Try not to drop it on the floor. Make sure it's good and inky. Stamp it off here on the scrap paper, and then stamp it over the center of the, hopefully over the center of the panel. And that's going to be it for the, well, it didn't turn out awesome. I think I'm going to flip it over and try it again. I ended up with a spot there that I'm not sure if I have something on the image. No, just probably didn't ink it very well. All right, stamp it on scrap paper, and we'll try it again on the other side. And if we don't get an awesome image this time, well, we'll just go with it. That's much better. Much happier with that one. All right, let me close up this ink pad. Oh, you don't like the Stampin' Seal? And I love that, actually. This is one of my favorite adhesives. It does take a minute to figure it out, how to use it, but since I have, I actually love it. And my biggest tip with it is, and it's hard to see when you're looking straight down on it, is don't hold it. People want to hold it like this and then like go across the paper like this. If you actually tip it so that it's tilted a little bit higher and put your hand under here, rather than putting it on the top, it works much, much better. So that's why I have my hand, I hold it like this. And then it puts it at the right angle to put it down here on your paper. And it looks like I stuck that in something icky. And then, I love it. Like I said, this is my favorite adhesive ever because it's super sticky. I know some people loved the older snail stuff, but that stuff never held my cards together. I guess I put too many layers on. So this stuff holds like crazy, and I love it. So let me grab my bone folder here, and we're just going to do a little crease here along the edge. I'm going to flip it over and try not to smoosh my embossed image. There we go. And that's it. So don't have Sahara sand. Well, yep, crumb cake would definitely work, and especially if you're going to be using daffodil, it's a little brighter. So obviously a little brighter on the background, a little brighter on the coloring, and I think it'd be perfect. So it is easy, Melanie. So, all right. So that's it for today. So this is my card I made ahead of time. This is a card I made today. And obviously you can see there are some things that are a little different about it. This one I obviously must have cut up a little bit shorter than I did this one. Placement on it, things are a little bit different, but I think it works either way. So again, depending on which way you like to have your cards, you can either have this be a top fold or a side fold, and works well. So actually, do give it a try, Dawn, and let me know if it works for you, because like I said, for me, that's how it's worked the best, is I just hold it so that it's almost not straight up and down, but closer to straight up and down than like this. And I know the hand grip looks like you should hold it like this, but I don't have any luck with holding it that way. It doesn't roll right. If I put it up a little bit higher up, then it rolls correctly. So try that. Let me know what you think. All right. I swear, I'm done talking finally. It's only been a half an hour. Sorry. So have a wonderful rest of your day. Don't forget about hopping over and joining our event page. Just search for the Ink and Crew World Card Making Day 2022 page. Go ask to join it. We'll let you in as soon as we see you over there asking to join. And we will be doing our event all day on Saturday, and I'll try to be more prepared and not have my stuff everywhere for this Saturday event. So speaking of that, I will actually not be going live on YouTube on Friday. I'll be doing my live on Saturday instead. So I'm planning to go live Saturday morning around 9 o'clock. So I'll be the first one, and it will be on our event page on Facebook, and I will share it out on my YouTube page as well as on my blog. So you'll be able to find it if you're not able to join the event or aren't able to join live. You'll still get to see it, so no worries. And again, the details for this card will be posted out on my blog tomorrow, which is stampwithamyk.com, and I'll link it up in the description of this video just as soon as I get the blog post up and going. So, and thanks so much. I appreciate you all being here. Have a good rest of your Tuesday, and we'll talk to you all soon.